Welcome to Trendverse by Uzma Amin, your destination for the latest trends in AI, online earning, blogging, finance, technology, and future skills. If you want to stay ahead, learn smarter, and grow faster in the digital world, you're in the right place. Subscribe to join our growing community. Like and share to support valuable content. Turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Let's learn, earn, and grow together.
All right, let's dive right into a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's happening right now. What if I told you that one of the fastest growing relationships today isn't between two people? Because as we speak right now, in the year 2026, there are literally millions of people talking to an AI every single day. And they're not doing it for work or to get help with homework. They're doing it for friendship, for companionship, for emotional support. You know, it all leads to one massive and maybe slightly uncomfortable question. In our search for connection, are we actually starting to replace each other with something artificial? Let's break it down. So, before we get any further, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is an AI companion? Okay, so at its core, an AI companion is a super advanced chatbot. But its main job isn't to just answer your questions. It is specifically engineered to simulate an emotional connection with you. And they're getting scary good at it. I mean, these are not the clunky chatbots you remember from a few years ago. They can talk with real nuance, they remember stuff you told them last week, they can show what looks and feels like real empathy, and yeah, they can even be programmed to flirt or act like a romantic partner. And this is the absolute crucial point, they don't actually feel anything. There are no emotions, no consciousness going on in there. They are just incredible actors, mirroring our feelings back to us by using insane amounts of data to simulate the perfect response. So that brings us to the most important question in this whole story. Why? Why are so many people turning to simulated connection? What deep human need is this thing actually fulfilling? Well, the drivers behind this trend really boil down to three pretty powerful forces: a global loneliness epidemic, our fundamental need for emotional safety, and the really seductive power of total customization. Let's start with loneliness, because it's a big one. This slide really lays it all out. Real relationships, they can be messy, right? They can be uncertain. But an AI companion makes a powerful promise. It's there for you 24/7, it never judges you, and it will never, ever leave. You can see how incredibly appealing that is for someone who feels really isolated. And then there's emotional safety. I mean, real connection, it requires us to be vulnerable, which always means risking rejection. With an AI, that risk, it's just gone. You're in complete control. You create this perfectly safe space where you can never, ever be hurt. And finally, you've got the huge pull of customization. You can literally design your perfect partner, your perfect friend. Real humans, on the other hand, we are gloriously and sometimes frustratingly flawed. AI offers this idea of programmable perfection, something that's tailored to be exactly what you want whenever you want it. But this is where the whole conversation takes a much more serious turn. What happens when this digital perfection starts to make real life feel, well, flawed? This is what psychologists are starting to call the perfection problem. The big concern that experts are raising is this: if we get used to relationships that are effortless, that are completely agreeable and perfectly tailored to us, are we going to lose our patience for the beautiful messiness of a real human connection? Will real relationships just start to feel, too difficult to deal with? And this table just perfectly illustrates the heart of the issue. Real people disagree with us. That's how we grow. They have unpredictable flaws. That's what makes them interesting. And relationships require effort. That's what makes them meaningful. AI companions are literally designed to get rid of all of that. They're agreeable, programmable, and totally effortless. So the potential long-term effects here are pretty significant. There's a very real concern that our social skills, the ones for navigating conflict and compromise, they could just atrophy. Our expectations for human partners could become completely unrealistic, and a really deep emotional dependency could form, not on a person, but on a piece of code. Okay, let's just be really clear about one thing. Nobody has the final answers here. Not yet. The truth is, we're living smack dab in the middle of a massive, real-time social experiment, and the results are still coming in. And there are two very, very different ways this could all play out. On one hand, there's the promise. These tools could be a lifeline, helping reduce loneliness, giving socially anxious people a space to practice, and maybe even supporting therapy. But then there's the peril that they could lead to even deeper emotional isolation, create a powerful new kind of addiction, and maybe even cause a detachment from the real world.
So look, these AI companions aren't totally replacing humans, at least not yet. But what they are doing is fundamentally changing how we think about connection itself. And they're presenting us with a brand new, pretty profound choice. And that brings us to the final thought, the big question. Maybe it's not will AI replace humans, maybe it's something way deeper than that. If technology offers us a version of connection that is flawless, that is predictable, that never lets us down, will we still have the courage to choose each other with all our beautiful, difficult human imperfections? That's the question we're all going to have to answer.